speaking about madness, I mean, I've a couple of times been down and have a look at this drug injecting facility in suburban Melbourne in Richmond. They built it next to a primary school. Can you believe how dumb that is?
Unbelievable.
They've now got overdoses. People are dying in school playgrounds. I went down there about a year ago and it took me 5 minutes to find a bloke about a block away shooting up in the gutter near that school. But it seems they're now going to leave this thing there, regardless of what the local population say. They won't move it. They refuse to admit that they've made a mistake, and they're even possibly going to put another one in the city. But wouldn't that be the worst piece of public policy you've ever heard of in your life? A drug injecting facility next to a primary school?
Well, I mean, it's just horrendous, and I can't imagine. I don't know how Dan Andrews, frankly, gets away with this sort of stuff. Because, of course, you know, this is just a real sort of pointy piece of policy that you see across the entire spectrum of socialist left policies, which is to punish normal people, middle-class people, to say, you know, hey, screw you and your bourgeois lives. We're going to put an injecting room next to your school on the same street as your nice houses, and this is what you get for being normal, responsible people and paying your taxes. You get drug users nodding off outside your house where your kids have to step over them to get to school. It is an absolute disgrace, and it is one of the many, many sins of the Andrews government.
Absolutely stupid. I mean, when you look at the drug facility in Sydney, it's in Darlinghurst Road, the middle of the cross, at the grotty end of the cross. I mean, if you have to have one of these things, that's the sort of place you put it. But you don't put it in a suburb next to a house. I mean, I know Dan Andrews hasn't put it in his suburb, in his street.
Yeah, no, and I mean, but the other thing, too, is, you know, the conversation that you got to have about hard drug use in this country, too. I mean, you know, you encourage what you want more of. And when you do something like this and you have a situation where there's a place where you say the law does not apply, you know, because of, you know, out of the kindness of your heart, well, what are you doing? You're saying the law doesn't really apply anywhere, or that it's loose in a gray area. And, oh, you know, you've got troubles and that's why you're a drug addict. Well, you know, I'm sorry, like, countries that go really hard on this stuff don't have problems with injecting rooms next to schools.
Yeah, and just finally, the Greens, by the way, what they want to do is allow children to actually use that injecting facility. And when you're in there, it's not just heroin, you can actually take ice as well. It's just madness.